You ain't getting it. It's a diversion. You need to stop talking about it and start focusing and paying attention to the real issues. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Rita. I hope you all are doing well. Let's talk about this whole idea of reparations.
Black people got their reparations checks today, and in short, all hell is broken loose.
You have been seeing a lot of people begging, screaming, cutting up.
Nobody real care about that. We care about our reparations, and we have to put white people on notice.
America must provide reparations.
And this is something that when I was growing up, I never heard about. Like, I'm sure there were fringe groups of people, but this is something that, you know, our politicians and the modern day Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton types are all, by the way, making tons of money off of telling us we're Black people, we're oppressed. I mean, Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson, they've been on this hustle for decades upon decades. Since Dr. Martin Luther King, they've been on this hustle about how oppressed Black people are and how there's systemic racism, but they were able to get ahead. But you know, this is all a distraction. It is a distraction. There is so much more going on in this world that has nothing to do with your Blackness that you are not even, you can't see because you're so focused on your Blackness, on your reparations, on racism. The people in Chicago, Vivek Ramaswamy, one of the people running for president in 2024, he went into Chicago in the South Shore area to talk about the issues that people were concerned about. And one of the main issues that kept coming up was reparations. And all I could think was, nobody's concerned about jobs and skills training. Nobody's concerned about entrepreneurship. How about programs where people can get their real estate license? How about programs bringing trades back to the high schools there? There used to be nothing but trade schools now. Half of them are closed down. I wonder why. So nothing about bringing trades back to the schools to help rebuild the community, give these boys who want to be working with their hands, who are active, having something where they could actually be proud of, where they can build and build something. No. They didn't ask him anything about any of that stuff. All they asked about were reparations. See what I mean? How reparations, this is a distraction. This is a distraction that was pushed by race hustlers, by Democrats, to get you focused on winning the proverbial lottery.
What are you going to do with all this money?
I'm going to reinvest my money into the community.
Oh, that's a very nice gesture. What were you
at the town hall where where they were outraged about immigrants, illegals coming there and being placed in their neighborhoods? One of the ladies started saying, "I was systemic racism, and this is why it's happening to them."
We have been redlined, Jim Crow.
No, honey, it's not systemic racism. It's happening everywhere. In Ireland, in the UK period, people have been floating over there on boats and the government is just welcoming them in. Oh, somebody coming from a different culture who believes it's perfectly fine to marry an 11-year-old? Bring them on in. Put them next door to you. You're all the same anyway. They can push a bunch of people in here who barely speak the language. I haven't heard of any programs being set up to try to assimilate these people, teach them English, whatever. And these aren't just people coming from Spanish-speaking countries. Now we're starting to see people coming from everywhere. There's people on the actual terror watch list from the Middle East. To them, we are all part of the peasant class. So yeah, they're going to be dropping people off. When Florida sent those migrants to Martha's Vineyard, up where Obama and a whole bunch of other politicians and billionaires had their nice, beautiful, lavish properties. They sent those people out the next day, said they didn't have resources, but they got a big old sign saying we're a sanctuary city. But for you, peasant who live in a farming community, low income community, you peasant, you're the same as the random peasants that come over here who's going to work in our house. I ain't trying to be mean. I'm just saying this is what it seems like the mindset is. The reparations conversation is a distraction. If they can get you all amped up on believing that somebody owes you reparations, on winning the lottery, as it were, if they can get you all focused on that, then you don't pay any attention to what's really going on.
Politically, having over 500 people in our community would completely wipe out any interest we have. Are you aware that there are immigrant advocates at state houses all over this country who are advocating for non-citizen voting in local elections.
This is intentional, sir. This is happening in every Western country. It's a class thing. They're only dropping these people off in rural and urban areas where there are poor and middle class, earners. That's where they're dropping these people off because, yes, they are trying to not dilute, they're trying to completely silence our voices. The replacement thing, it's real and it's not about race.
Gatekeepers on Twitter become literally hysterical if you use the term replacement. If you suggest that the Democratic Party is trying to replace the current electorate, the voters now casting ballots, with new people, more obedient voters from the third world.
Replacement theory is based on white supremacy, racism. No. They just want to, every time, think of it this way. Every time you hear a commentator, a news pundit, any of these people, their retort to somebody talking about a conspiracy theory is white supremacy, white nationalists. You should just block that out of your mind because that means they want the conversation to end right there. They don't want you looking past it. They don't want you thinking about what's really going on, what the real issues are. They want your thought process because they know when you hear when people hear white supremacy, anything that comes after that, they just block it out. That is the plan. What you need to know is the replacement thing is true. They're putting it, these people, these governments who really want it to be a one world government, a one world currency that they're working on. It's a digital currency where they will be able to track your purchases because they want to see what you got, see what you're buying. Make sure you're not eating too much meat and that you're eating enough bugs.
I am going to eat a 4-course meal of bugs.
Danas raspravljamo o ulozi vas poljoprivrednika u zelenoj tranziciji. Vaša uloga je iznimno jednostavna. Vi morate nestati. Zašto? Zato jer smetate novoj suludoj ideologiji potpune kontrole nad stanovništvom Europske unije, za koje će u skorijoj budućnosti jedina hrana biti umjetno stvorena hrana, nadopunjena uvezenim kukcima sa istoka.
Banning gas stoves. They're doing that right now in New York and Chicago. It is coming for you, baby. It is coming. I'm just saying these things are going on, but Cori Bush from the Lou.
You faced some criticism in recent weeks over your push to defund the police.
I have private security because my body is worth being on this planet right now.
Is busy standing on the steps talking about reparations. Meanwhile, all this stuff's going on behind your back. But no, reparations is a bigger problem. Okay. Who's going to give you these reparations? Where are you going to get these reparations from? How are you going to know who to give them to? You're gonna the people the white people, refugees from Ukraine who got here, are they going to pay reparations? I mean, what white people are going to pay? It ain't going to happen. It's not going to happen. States like Connecticut and Minnesota have bills right now waiting to be signed into law that make minor attracted persons, as they're calling them, a protected class.
We're going to call them that. We're going to call them MAPs.
So this right here is the pedo flag. The technical term of this flag is MAP, which stands for Minor Attracted Persons. Now, the fact that this flag even exists is disgusting in itself. So here's a breakdown of what the colors mean on the flag. The top two stripes are blue to represent attraction to young boys. The bottom two stripes are pink to represent attraction to young girls. The inner yellow stripes are to represent childhood and general attraction to minors regardless of their gender. And the middle stripe is white to represent innocence and unwillingness to offend.
A protected class, meaning right along with black people, brown people, whoever the protected class. See, this is the problem that a lot of people have with the civil rights movement. Because once you go down in affirmative action and all that stuff, because once you go down this road of categorizing any specific special group of people with some special privileges or whatever it may be, once you classify that and make that law, then you're always going to have somebody who's looking at that, looking to expand that and to include all sorts of perverse stuff. And this is what we're seeing today. MAPs, that's what they're trying to call them because they're trying to destigmatize what the thing is. Again, with the language, we cannot fold to the language. School teachers now are being allowed to provide hormone therapy to your child. If your child comes and says, oh, I'm confused about my gender, or I think I'm confused, because they are in there indoctrinating and confusing the children, your teacher gets to, in the principal, the whole school basically is to decide to give your child medicine. DC is privately giving shots to children, even though it's coming with all sorts of adverse events. But they were doing it anyway. I don't know if they still are, but when this stuff when it was first deployed, they were behind parents' back, against parents' will, poking kids with medications. This is the stuff that is going on while they got Black folk begging for reparations.
True liberation starts with money.
Yeah. You focus on reparations. You keep on begging for reparations and talking about racism. And while you're doing that, we just gonna fleece you. Not only are we gonna fleece you, but we're gonna indoctrinate your children and sexualize them.
Butt plugs. The kids are just playing with them. They're looking at them.
In the school?
In a classroom.
Wow.
Yeah. While I'm sitting there. And we had a drag queen come in, pass out cookies and brownies and do photos.
It's so amazing. And everybody's cool with that, like the butt plugs and the dildos. Yeah. Nobody complains.
No.
I mean, if the parents found out, would they?
No. It's queer sex.
These things are happening. You need to be paying attention. And you need to stop talking about reparations because you ain't getting it. And they got no intentions on giving it to you. They're trying to do something else with not just Black people. Get off of that. But with everybody who they deem to be beneath them. So these are the things that we should be focused on and reaching out to our legislatures, seeing what bills they're passing to see what the heck is going on. Reparations is not going to matter if you're a serf. I'm glad you guys stopped by. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Until next time, ciao.